got a queued up, it just didn't like that. We gotta do a fresh one.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. We're going to call this meeting to order at 5:03. And Robin, could you take the roll, please? And thank you for filling in for Dinah.
Board Member Van Landingham,
Present.
Board Member Reed Kluth,
Present.
Vice President Clerk Barrow,
Present.
President Cole.
Present.
There's 4 present.
Moving on to public comments from the audience to the board for items on the closed session. Members of the audience may address the board regarding closed session items. Comments from visitors shall not exceed 3 minutes unless waived by a majority of all board members. I don't see anyone in the audience, and I don't think we have anyone on Zoom or on, yeah.
No comment on Zoom this time.
Thank you. All right, so we will adjourn our closed session, or to closed session. The meeting's called to order at 6:06. It's so light out. In closed session, this is a readout from closed session. The board took action to non-reelect 5 probationary teachers. The roll call vote for each was as following: Board Member Van Lanaham, yes. Board Member Reed Cluth, yes. Board Member Bove LaMonica, yes. Board Member Barrow, yes. And Board Member Cole, yes. We're just going to take a minute before we get started, and the Hermosa Beach City School District would like to take a moment to honor and remember Jack Burns, who was a former board member who passed away recently. Jack joined the board in 2009 and served until 2013, playing a pivotal role in guiding the district through a challenging financial period. He had younger children in the district at the time when he joined the board. His leadership, dedication, and unwavering commitment were instrumental in preserving the integrity of our schools. Jack led with compassion, passion, and conviction, and always striving to find solutions that ensured the district's stability. We are deeply grateful for his service, or sorry for his family's loss, and lasting contributions to our community. And can we take roll call, please, Robin?
Okay, there it goes. There we go. All right. Board Member Van Landingham,
Present.
Board Member Reed Cluth,
Present.
Board Member Vola Monica, Vice President Clerk Barrow,
Present.
President Cole,
Present.
all present.
Thank you. Can we please rise for the flag salute? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I did a few of those things backwards, but it's okay. Can I get an approval for tonight's agenda? So moved. Thank you, Kathy. And we're going to move, can I get a second? Sorry.
Second.
Thank you, Carol. And all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Moving on to number 7. We adopted a new system here, so sorry, I'm used to reading out lots of things, and now I'm like, oh, just 7.1. Welcome to the board meeting, Hermosa Valley Student Council. We are always happy to have you here. It is your turn. It's on announcements. Come on up. Woo.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth, and I am the 5th grade representative for 5th and 6th Student Council. I wanted to share a few things about what is happening in 5th grade. Friday, we are headed to the California Science Center to watch an IMAX about the blue whales and explore and learn about all things that we have learned about in class: chemical reactions, food webs, water cycles, and more. 5th grade is gearing up for our 17th century American History Day on Wednesday, March 26th. This is a great day for students to understand how the colonial people lived, learning about their culture through food, making crafts, dancing, and even going to school. In Idea Lab, classes are rotating through 3 different units: robots, marble roller coasters, and 3D printing.
Hi, my name is Anha, and we're student council at Valley Middle School, and we are here to update you on what's happening.
Hi, I'm Presley Clancy Simon. Last weekend, the 8th grade students attended Astro Camp. It was a different adventure as it was held over the weekend. However, the students came back with so much excitement. There was snow on the ground and many memories were made. Thank you to everyone who worked hard to make it happen.
Today, the 8th graders went to Disneyland. Currently, they are gearing up to head back to campus. Although it rained, I'm sure the students still had a great experience with their friends.
Our Hermosa Valley Science Olympiad team, led by coaches Miss Shannon, Miss Shin, and Miss Spurrell, had a great showing at regionals this past Saturday. Their team put their STEM skills to the test during the regional competition at Rio Hondo College. Competing in 23 different events against 43 middle schools from all across Los Angeles County, they placed 11th overall. Congratulations to the HBS Science Olympiad team. Recruitment for next year's team will begin soon. 6th, 7th, and 8th graders are welcome to participate.
Trimester 2 ended last Friday, and we started Trimester 3 this week. Students who are participating in the Trimester elective wheel received new elective classes on Monday and are really excited to start some new projects.
The 5th grade will also be attending a field trip to the California Science Center this Friday. We hope they have a great trip.
Spring sports are here this season. Tryouts for boys and girls track, field, surf, and cheer, boys volleyball, and girls flag football will begin soon. Make sure to check out the HBS Athletics website for updates. We are excited for another season, and good luck to our fellow Dolphins.
Our Hermosa Valley Student Council will host the last dance of the year next Friday, March 21st, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. in the Hermosa Valley School gym. The students have chosen the theme Hawaiian Paradise. Permission slips will go out by the end of this week. Everyone is excited for the dance, and students are really looking forward to the DJ and the In-N-Out truck.
Thank you again for allowing our student council to share what is happening at Valley. We look forward to sharing more information with you next month.
Great job, you guys. A great articulation, all of you. It's like so fun to hear you talk and be so comfortable in the microphone, so great job. We're going to move on to public comments. Public comments from the audience to the board. Members of the audience may address the board on any topic regardless of whether it is listed on the agenda. However, the board may not discuss issues raised that are not listed on the agenda. Topics not on the agenda that are brought to the board's attention may be investigated by the administration and a report made to the board, either publicly or privately at a future meeting. Comments from visitors shall not exceed 3 minutes per speaker unless waived by a majority of all members of the board. Do we have any public comment tonight, Robin? I see new people in the audience, but assuming you aren't here for public comment. Anybody on Zoom?
No public comments.
No Zoom.
Okay. Everyone, no one wants to talk tonight? No. I think you're up, Jessica. All right, moving on to board member reports. Dun, dun, dun. Would you like to start, Maggie?
I would. I want to share with the board that I've been participating in the CSBA Legislative Advocacy Week. Today was the day 2. There is 2 more days of it, and it's an opportunity to speak with state legislators, both Assembly and Senate. There are a series of bills that I've been advocating on behalf of Hermosa, obviously for Prop 98 money and COLA funding to make sure that school districts are put whole. But then there is also a bill extending the ability of school districts to have substitute teachers from 30 to 60 days. And then also a 2019 bill, AB 218, which had a statute of limitations increase for victims of childhood abuse and educating lawmakers on the consequences that bill is having for both budget and administrative staff time for school districts. So these are really fun. Anyone is open to join these calls. We've all been given the opportunity to hop on. I encourage you, the CSBA does have talking points if you're nervous to know what to talk about, but good opportunity to get in front of the legislators, let them know about Hermosa Beach.
Thank you for doing that, Maggie. Carol? Have anything to say?
Sure, yeah. Can I share about going to the Skechers
100%.
event? Okay. So I was lucky enough to be able to go to the Skechers and Friendship Foundation celebration last week, I think it was, we went. And our team this year knocked it out of the park. They had a record-breaking year. It was, am I allowed to say how much it is? It was 269, sorry, I don't know why I said 100. 269. It was 269,000, which is just over 20,000 more than last year, which is amazing. I just want to say a big thank you to the community because it's all of our parents and our community that make that happen every year, as well as our staff that promotes it and gets into it. It doesn't happen without the staff being nicely competitive with their peers. And then a really big thank you to Tricia Scaglione and Joyce Resta, who chaired that event and made it as great as it was. It's the 16th year that that event has ran, and the first year Hermosa brought in, I think, $6,500. So it's kind of amazing to see how far it's gone for the whole community since then.
And so kind of Skechers to be such great supporters of the school districts in the South Bay. It's an amazing give back, so great job. Thank you, Carol. Kathy, you always are going to like some new committees. What committee have you been to
So
this month?
today, as a matter of fact, we were on our third day of our English language arts adoption, and which consists of teachers, administrators, aides, and a trainer to die for. She's so good, but no, I do really appreciate Susan Wilds as our trainer for this. I'm learning a lot as a teacher who taught for 20 years. I'm learning a ton of stuff, so that's great. Today we started looking at our first set of curriculum items from this one publisher, and we have a criteria of non-negotiables that we're looking at and trying to grade them. And then we have a couple more that we're going to be looking at and coming up with the best curriculum for our students, for each and every student to learn how to read and the science of reading and writing. So I'm excited about that. That's it.
Rachel, any additional board reports?
No, unfortunately, I was working when we had the Los Angeles County School Trustees Association meeting, but they're having another one next week. I'll be able to attend over Zoom, so I'll be able to catch up.
Perfect, thanks. All right, moving on. Reports to the board and discussion, and we'll start with 10.1, the Hermosa Valley Intramural Athletic Presentation. Do we have a?
Well, good evening.
Welcome.
Thank you, board, for allowing us to be up here and share a little bit what's going on at Hermosa. It's good to see you guys. Good to see some new faces too. So it's super exciting. Just wanted to quickly introduce. We're gonna talk about what we're doing here at Hermosa, what we got going during fall, what we did during the fall, what we did during winter, what's coming up in spring, and then just kind of what's hope for next year and what we're building on for this year.
So, bit of a run of show for today. One of the things that I appreciate most is having this wonderful person stand beside me who's really changed the face of Hermosa athletics. But in terms of our core values and athletic goals, Nate came in and said, we're doing a lot of things really well, and then we're doing a lot of things that we can grow, where we can grow. And so I attribute a lot of those core values and athletic goals to what he's been able to do. We're going to talk about athletic highlights, some celebrations, a couple people who are new to our family and our team in sports, and then what we see as the next steps for future for our after-school sports program.
All right, these are our core values and athletic goals. Some of these already existed. If you guys know Mr. Butcher, he came up with some of these goals, and then I added some of these goals to Ms. Bledsoe, and we came up with these. The top priority for me, like some of the things that I really value, is commitment to excellence. I think there's something special about doing things with excellence, not just doing things just to do things, doing things well, whether it's like practice, games, even how we conduct ourselves on the field, just doing things with excellence, and then even personal growth. I say this like when I had my first introduction with some of the parents, like it's not only about sports, but it's also about like growing holistically as an individual, like gaining responsibility. Hey, I made a commitment. I need to show up to practice. Like, hey, I'm not going to go. I need to go tell the coach myself. Like, I'm not going to go tell him for you. Just all these things that you learn within sports. Those are like the two biggest things for me that I've been trying to really push on this year with our coaches and just our athletes. Oh yeah, me too. Sorry. Some of the highlights, fall, we killed it during fall season. I think you guys, girls volleyball was here. You guys recognize them. We always like run the floor with volleyball. Not always, sorry. We do, okay, you know what I mean. Yeah. Cross country, we did well. We had some first place winners. Capri Pierce, a 6th grader, she killed it. She like absolutely demolished it. She actually holds our record right now. Like Mr. Butcher has like a record of like all HBS students that used to like come here, and we do like a track and field unit. And she just broke the record for the fastest miles as a 6th grader. She's like 6:20 something or 6:40 something. So she is awesome. Boys and girls surf was really good. It was kind of like a prep season for them as to get ready for their comp season in spring. Cheerleading was great. Winter season, it's a rebuild year for us. Last year, and we did really well. Last year we struggled. With just a lot of the other schools are just bigger than us, so a lot of the competition, a lot of the players that we can pull from is a little bit smaller. Man, but this year we did really well. Like boys soccer won a few games. I think girls soccer won. This is their first year, I think, in like 3 years that they won like more than 2 games. So that was like awesome to hear about and see that. Boys and girls basketball has been doing really, really well. The coaches for the boys team is just awesome, and the girls basketball was just 1 game shy of being the champions for the South Bay League. But I think we got it next year. Yeah.
So when you talk about impact, I think it's important to always know from where did we come and where are we now. And I think all of us remember the time when sports weren't a thing for a couple of years. A lot of our students kind of lost a bit of their identity during that time. So it's been so enriching to rebuild and see kids' competitive play, seeing them interacting with one another, seeing parents on the sidelines. But when we're talking about program impact and we look at the number of students that are impacted by this, it's about 47% of our middle school students that are taking part in some form of athletic event. And I think as we continue to grow that, Nate's doing a great job of getting students on teams supported by the board too, initiatives of building out more clinics for maybe the kids that are just playing for the very first time and want that exposure, want that athletic exposure. But when you're looking at the coaches that we have, the total number of games and meets that this guy is organizing, and how many conversations that happen between athletic directors, the impact is great. It also does a lot for our school morale. So kids asking like, how do I keep this shirt? Can I get my friends to sign this shirt? Come out and support me at the game. So it just feels like we're really breeding that school spirit in Hermosa and rolling them up to 2 really wonderful athletic high schools. It's important that we continue to grow and then also continue to make our programs great.
All right, wanted to kind of give a shout out to some of our athletes. Here is a spotlight on Lily. I don't know if you guys don't know who Lily is. She's new to this school year, to the school this year. She's an 8th grader. She came to the school and she's a volleyball player. And she's like, I asked her to give me a quote because I was like, hey, how did it feel to be like, kind of your first time here, not knowing anyone? She's like, I really actually enjoyed it. I think volleyball gave me an outlet to make some social friends. And so it was really, really cool to hear her say like, hey, like I found people that love volleyball just as much as I do. And so she was able to make some network and some friends. Fun fact about Lily, if you guys know who her uncle is, Kiki Vanderway. He used to play for the LA Clippers. So I was like, Vanderway, that sounds familiar. She's like, yeah, my uncle is a basketball player. I was like, okay. But yeah, so it was awesome to see Lily play this year. She's an incredible volleyball player, and just to see her build some relationship with some of her friends there.
The fact that we say a lot in Hermosa, oh, these kids have been together since they came out of the womb, right? But what it says is a student can come here, be new, find a thing, and find her people, and really make a mark on our school, be celebrated, and have a people in a program, which is wonderful.
Yeah. I also wanted to invite Anha, who's just like a great person because she's in student council, she's an athlete, she played volleyball for us. She wants to share a little bit about her experience with girls volleyball.
Hi guys, I just want to start off by giving a huge thanks to Coach Vasquez for putting together such an amazing volleyball program. He's always been really enthusiastic about his role as the athletics director at HBS, and he's just really involved with the sports programs that we have. I loved being a part of our school's volleyball team. It was a great way to get to know people that I really wouldn't have talked to otherwise, and I got to like just meet everyone, so many different grades and social circles. We had an amazing team as well as so many amazing coaches who were really supportive, motivating, and encourage us just to play to our best ability. Not only did being part of the volleyball team allow me to meet new people, it also developed my skills like team bonding, being competitive while still being respectful, playing as a unit, putting like all of your effort in all of the time, and playing a new position. One of the biggest benefits of playing school sports in general is they serve as a transition to like club from summer season. The transition, especially for volleyball, sets kids apart from the ones that played for their school. The transition, especially for volleyball, sets the kids that played for their school apart from the kids that didn't, and it's a clear indication of their dedication and love for the sport.
Thank you for sharing that, Aha. She was great. Also, if you guys don't mind, board, I have a letter that was written by one of the eighth graders. He's celebrating at Disneyland with all his friends, so I wanted to share. It's a really sweet letter. It says, "Dear School Board, my time here at HVS has been a really awesome experience. Although one of my favorite experiences was HVS athletics. My time on the HVS flag football team was an amazing experience where I had an outlet to emotions and where I made friends with kids across all grades in and out of HVS. It's also a great community of coaches and players, and overall, I'm honored to play for the team, representing our school and being part of a great group of people, regardless of record. Best regards, Wesley Rowe." I know, and if you guys know Wesley, you know he's had a rough start of the year, but man, it was cool to hear this and to hear him say, "Hey, like I'm glad I was able to be a part of the team," and it was so cool to see just him flourish. You know, it was like his thing. It was his thing right there to see that. We also, no, go ahead. I just want to quickly show some of the pictures. That's Capri in the bottom left when she won first place at it was at MBMS, and that's a volleyball team, football team. Those are some cool surf pictures that actually our yearbook kids took of. They went in the morning and took those cool pictures. We also had the experience this year. You know, we're in LA. We were able to connect with this company called Playbook Sports, and they invited us to go play at SoFi. So we did like a little fun intramural game. We split the boys half and half, and they played on the field, and the girls were out there cheerleading, and the parents went. So it was a really fun experience. They went out there for like an hour, and I mean, you know, who can say they played on a professional football team? So that was really cool to see that and be there for that.
So this particular quote is from one of our eighth graders, Pierce Kerber. So we kind of highlighted both ends of the spectrum: Lily, who's really new to us, and Pierce, who's worn the shirt for the last 3 years here in Hermosa and kind of has a bit of a athletic legacy in our town. But I think what's great about highlighting student athletes is they are so multidimensional. So I think a lot of times our teachers and staff see like, how well is somebody doing in English, or how well are they doing in science? And Pierce is killing it. But also he is a great athlete and he's a great team member, and really shows leadership skills on the court and off. So it's an honor to watch him play. And then here's our winter sports highlighted. I think that an important thing for me personally is to big shout out to our coaches. These are our parents, our people in the community that are supporting not only their children, but others. They are helping build skills since we're a middle school team. And I think Coach V does a really great job leading students on we're still growing. Let's focus on fundamentals. Let's learn how to play the rules correctly. Let's look on development. So I think our coaches help to support that mission, and we get people in front of kids that deserve to be there and really want to be there. But also the camaraderie. Win or lose, our kids are there for one another, and I think that that feels important to so many of them, regardless of what's going on in life.
I also want to add, if you don't mind, our coaches, they're phenomenal. Especially the winter coaches. The fall coaches are great too, but these fall and winter have been like coaches have been this is their second year or third year, and that makes a big difference. Like when we get some retention, so like the girls basketball team, you know, for sixth grade last year was a really rough year, but it was like their first year with Coach Rocky and Trisha. You guys know Trisha; she's just awesome. And so like this year they like really progressed. Same thing for boys, girls soccer. Coach Juan came back for a second year, like really progressed. The boys basketball team, same thing, like same coaches from last year, so they really progressed. So it's really cool to see like there's kind of a culture being built now between the kids and the players, and yeah, just the parents even appreciating the coaches. You know, I know the boys basketball want to go get some pizza. I got a pizza party, like a pizza spot over here, and I know that the boys soccer team went to grab pizza. So to see that stuff, like yeah, we're doing something right. So it's really cool to see that.
This is a familiar face. We're seeing her all over town. But Coach Alyssa Crenshaw, she goes by many titles. She's also one of our TK teachers up at VU, and this is her second year in Hermosa. But I think really highlights the important impact that our teacher coaches have. Just seeing her down at Clark Field for opening day with our cheer girls is wonderful. there she is in her hat, telling them what to do, but her spirit is fire. The other thing that's new is a cheer team. So this was really born out of student interest. Students are like, why don't we have a cheer team? And Coach B is like, okay, let me see, let me look. So he's advocating and lobbying and figuring out how we can be supportive of our students' voices. And I think that it was really cool to see them on the field. We are working on kind of skills and rebuilding, and then we're going to be focusing on tryouts in the springtime for the subsequent year. Also, what's new? Big shout out for girls flag football that started as an idea. And I remember Nate coming to me and saying, we're going to play one team. We're just going to play one team. And then, speaking of catching fire, these are the schools that we will be playing in girls flag football. So tryouts are happening really soon. We're going to have a sports information meeting too for anybody that's interested in this particular sport. It is all the rage. So I've had many students come up to me, when is the tryout? Have we chosen a date for the tryout? I really want to participate. And I just love it's giving an opportunity for our athletes, our girl athletes, to participate at a competitive level against all the other schools as well. So we'll play one game to each of these schools in our introductory year, and then we'll figure out what that looks like building wise as we grow. All right, where are we going to take this program? So we started with lots of big dreams, and we have added more to our list. One of those things is esports. It is a pretty big deal all over South Bay. I'm lucky to have Dr. Wilds has helped to produce and create a program in Redondo. Coach Vasquez has lots of contacts with teachers that are running this particular program in at a Redondo Middle School. So we're going to be able to get a really comprehensive overview of what we need in order to do this, so we can propose these things to you and propose it to our parent organizations. Expansion of clinics. I love the idea that our students who are not necessarily playing on a team, or those that are playing on a team but want to expand their reach and grow their skills, have an opportunity to engage in clinics. And Coach V is going to talk to you about what we're bringing on. And then also the potential for some lunchtime practice sessions. We have some partnerships with great organizations in our community that want to give back for $0. Thought that was an important point, to come to our school and spend some time with students during lunchtime. I think this really engages kids in a time where, you know, they're playing sports, but or they're sitting, and it organizes them with active play by playing by the rules, opening spaces that wouldn't necessarily be open to them during this time. And talking about partnerships.
Yeah, I'll talk about partnerships. So this is my second year as AD, and something I'm not from the South Bay. But something that I realized quickly is that everyone has like a cool network, and it's kind of like really cool to see, like, especially last year when I came, I saw like all the baseball kids' jerseys were like some like Lombardi Construction. I was like, what kind of baseball team is that? But anyway, I say that to say the partnerships is really cool to see that. And so that was something I was trying to really work on this year. And so I've been really working HBYB. They're actually going to sponsor us. We're going to get girls flag football jerseys, and we're going to get some track and field jerseys from them. They're going to, you know, hook us up with that, and we're gonna put a little HBYB post, a little patch on our shirt. Been working with the parents. They've been really super helpful. The parents, been supportive. I know some of the parents have gone out of their way to get the kids like T-shirts and things like that. Hermosa Baseball Little League, obviously the cheerleading team went out there and did their thing, and I hit up Mark Mamber and I said, hey bro, how'd you get all these free stuff? You know, so he kind of hooked me up with all these people that I can go. So I got all this like list of local businesses that I'm gonna go out and reach and be like, hey, do you want to sponsor us? Like, do you want to sponsor our team? Like, do you want to get a jersey and put your company on there? You know, we're a small city. Like, why not represent all of us holistically like that? You know. And then American Martyrs. I was able to talk to the AD, Drew Watson, and we couldn't get anything going during the winter because it was just such a busy season. But we're gonna try to do some boys volleyball, and then next year we're gonna try to do some football games for flag football. So we're working that out with American Martyrs.
Collaboration is key. Nate is a part of the South Bay Alliance, all for ADs, where we're getting together on what are we going to agree with the rules? What does this look like? What's our code of conduct? What does our schedule look like? How does that work for everybody? So I think that partnership is going to continue and is really important for us. We talk all the time. Allison Montoya is here, our assistant principal, who works very closely with Nate on who's the admin that's covering this particular game and what does this look like, and this student and their grade check, you know, all of those things. Couldn't do without our parents. And I think when Nate and I were building this presentation, he was like, absolutely not. Couldn't get to games without parents, right? So our parents are really just so incredibly important. In addition, many of them are our coaches. And then you've been supportive of our program. You've been open to us growing different things and I have an idea. I know I've started sentences like that to you before, but I think I'm so appreciative of that support, and I know Nate is as well. So we're just excited to continue to build a really great program for kids.
Share about clinics. This past week, last week, we had a lacrosse out there, South Bay Lacrosse. Dr. Wilds had a chance to come out there, and I was been connected with them, and they're going to start doing they want to do a clinic for us. So 3-day clinic for us. We're hoping to try for the end of this year, but I know there's some things I got to figure out first. But if not, for sure next year. They also want to do lunch clubs. They're one of the people that said, hey, I want to come once a week or twice a month to do a lunch club for lacrosse. Basketball. One of the coaches says, like, hey, next year I want to do like a little clinic beforehand before the season starts so I can get some more attention, bring some more interest, kind of get the kids to sharpen the skill. And then this is our second year doing volleyball clinics, and we're going to continue to do that moving forward as well. So we have some fun stuff coming up.
We're excited about girls flag football coming soon. We have one commitment from Coach Rocky, who is our basketball coach, and then another coach who we're hitting up who is yet to be named, but we'll be reaching out and hopefully will be texting us back soon. And that's it. But I do want to say on this slide, this is another yearbook photo from one of our students that apparently and ones are back. I wore them in elementary school, so here we are. Any questions, board?
Any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, I want to say thank you. I mean, as a parent who's seen this program grow, it's just been phenomenal, and it's about so much more than athletics and just their physical fitness, which is great too, but it's about their camaraderie, leadership, learning respect for the rules, which I like to push the boundaries. I mean, and the collaboration, getting to know kids from other grades. Wow, it's off the charts. And I've seen 8th graders act better because there's a 6th grader there, and I'm like, yes. But I just want to say, Coach Vasquez, thank you, and thank you, Principal Bledsoe. It's been just a wonderful, wonderful program to watch grow. I do have a question about funding. So I think it's for every single team that a student joins. It's a requested $150. Is that correct? I don't know how many. I mean, we don't say no to a child to play if their parents don't. Okay, good. Is there a way to get that down?
Well, do you want to start, or would you like to?
Yeah, so athletics obviously can be expensive, especially if there's travel or there are buses involved, in which we've seen an uptick. A bus just to get from here to Adams Middle School can cost about $750. So it's fairly pricey. In the state of California, you're allowed to there's certain allowable fees and requested donations for athletics, and transportation is one of them. But we really want to thank the HVPTO. They are huge sponsors, making sure for funding our coaches, funding our stipends, our so much of that is really the PTO. We couldn't run it without them, without their support.
Something that we will continue to look at is transportation is on a discussion topic for us. Not ready for that now, but I think that in the preparation of this, Nate and I have talked about potential funding opportunities and going out and hustling for money, and that's something, the building of partnerships with local leaders like HBLL or HBYB is going to afford us an opportunity to do things like have the students keep their jerseys. That's something that they really want. So I think as we continue to grow those money building opportunities, we can look to a better program.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you. I'm not complaining about those fees. It's far less than what we pay for club and everything else. It's very minimal. But I would just love to see. I want there to be more funding for this. I just don't want to have to pay for it personally. But I was just wondering about separate funding lines for this. So thank you, PTO, for what you do.
Yeah.
So, and thank you.
And every kid who wants to play gets to play.
They do? Then you have to try out.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
financially.
Okay, I was like, I'm not sure that's the case.
Financially, there's no.
Go ahead, Maggie.
Thank you to both of you so much. This is one of my favorite things. I loved seeing the presentation, loved hearing the updates on everything. I would love to get more data that we could talk about what wait lists look like. Hearing that 47% of our students are participating is amazing. I'd love for the board to be able to consider, like, what is the actual scope of the universe of students who want to participate. It is like a fundamental belief to me that if you don't get to play in middle school, considering this ecosystem of the South Bay, you will never get a chance to play that sport. So like if we can't offer it in middle school, we are really failing kids who will never make the Costa soccer team, football team, volleyball team, swim team, water polo team, lacrosse team, right? Like they just won't have that opportunity because of the caliber of folks who have uncles who played for the Clippers. So one, love to get the wait list information. Two, would also love to learn a little bit more about leagues and competition in just general, like to go back to the transportation piece. So if we could get a board update, I guess, Dr. Wilds, from you, of just learning more about the data on that.
Absolutely.
Something else to think about, this was, I learned early on in 5th grade that I didn't want to play basketball because I had the opportunity to play on a 5th grade team, right? So like, I think if we can think about for the board being able to opportunities to play athletics at a younger time period, I know it's an administrative hurdle, but other schools are doing it. I know Martyrs is starting flag football in 4th grade, right? They're doing basketball and starting in 4th grade, right? That might be too young for us, but 5th grade, because they're already on the Valley School campus, might be an opportunity that we can think about, and then building that pipeline for kids just to try things on early. I learned really quickly I hate basketball and volleyball and water polo by virtue of having those opportunities early on. Allowed me to play college soccer, got the other stuff out of the way. The other pieces I had were, if we're looking for colleges with esports partnerships to come and do mentoring, that's a really easy connection to make.
Yeah. Yes, and so many of our neighboring tech companies are dying to, but we're also, I may have the slight connection into the esports realm, but there are so many developers in this area between Activision, Blizzard, EA Sports that are just dying to come in
and every university has picked it up as a sport.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Full ride, Division I.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's a thing.
Don't underestimate.
Don't tell my son. Two last things. One, it would be interesting, Coach Vasquez, for you to see if in the future, not a near-term thing, but in the future, if Students Run LA is a partnership for our middle school kids who want to run the marathon. We already have Run Club, we already have cross country and track, and they are a phenomenal Los Angeles County organization that does the work. And it would be neat to be part of this larger ecosystem of students who do that. And then LA 84, given that the Olympics are around the corner, LA 84. LA 84 is the name of the organization that we should be a part of. The Los Angeles 84 Olympics were the only Olympics that made money. They took that money and put it in a foundation. That foundation is just transformative for youth sports across Los Angeles County. It provided me with coaching certificates. Like they do professional development for adults, but they also provide clinics for kids and resources for kids. Lastly, if we ever have gym space, sorry, my favorite topic. It's my favorite topic. If we ever have gym space, especially for lunchtime clinics, futsal is becoming like the rage everywhere, right? So if we have open gym, it's an easy setup. It's just a slightly harder ball and putting some, blocks up in the gym, and then we could put 4-on-4 tournaments.
I love it. I just wrote, I can read my notes. So I will be sure to.
And happy to follow up. I can talk about this all day.
I think the only thing that I would say in terms of growing leagues and competition, 5th grade or more that want to play, is it would likely have to be an intramural system, because one of the things that we struggle with is getting another team that has another B or another C team. And so that scheduling piece, or if they don't have that sport, then it would be us playing against us, which is also something that we have talked about. But broadening that can be a challenge for scheduling. Not a no, but definitely.
But I know the Catholic schools are doing it. Right, so there are teams out there that are doing it. So I'm just saying it'd be interesting to get the data and then have a conversation in the future on budget and capacity.
Totally, yeah. I agree.
Carol?
Well, I want to say a huge thank you to Coach Vasquez for how far you've taken this program in 2 years. I know that a year ago and your first year, it's not night and day, but it's pretty monumental. So thank you for that. And I know from being on campus and how the kids are calling your name when you walk by and walking by to say hi to you, that they think a lot of you. So so congrats on that. I also think it says a lot that they want to keep the jerseys, because having 2 kids that, things end up in the corner or wherever, when they want to keep something, it says a lot about the program they're involved in. So I think that that's a big deal. The other thing I wanted to say is, as a parent, and obviously I did not play college soccer, but you have your sports stuff. people always talk about the lessons in sports, and I think that I understood that, but I didn't really understand that till I had my own kids doing sports. And it's a lot of what Rachel said, but it's also a lot about commitment that you talk to, them learning commitment and learning how to be a good winner and learning how to handle loss is, I mean, that's a huge life lesson. So thank you for giving them all the opportunities to do that in a safe place. And that's all I had, but my head is swirling about maybe partnership stuff, so I'll see what we can come up with, yeah.
I think my peers said everything. I mean, we got some good coverage of all the events, but I'm a big sports aficionado and supporter, so I'm happy that we have you guys to continue it with Hermosa Valley School of Kids. My kids went to Hermosa Valley and they played sports, and then they went on to major, no, not really, I'm just kidding.
College.
Well, I did
players,
have a
yeah.
daughter who played in college, but soccer, and Butcher says she's still his favorite. Just saying. I'm just kidding. Get that on the
It is
record.
on the record. Thanks. Oh, I have a quick, yeah, sorry. It's also my favorite topic. First of all, thank you guys. It is a pleasure. I love coming, whenever I come to school and I see you out on the field, I'm always like, hey, and you're always like, hey, it's nice to be, yeah, I mean, kids recognize you, adults recognize you. I think they really appreciate you. And so really thankful for all that you're doing. I think one of the things that I would just ask is, since you are such a great role model for kids, I think you also would be a really great role model for parents in the audience. And if Hermosa wants to be known as like an exceptional place, maybe that's just something to think about, how we train parents at events. And the voice coming from you might be a really great voice. Because, yeah, no, I just think that's something that could be a next step for us.
Yeah, that's another thing I want to do next year is have like a mandatory parent meeting.
Yeah, just like how do you act as parents? Because as parents, we can all get a little crazy here.
Maybe some signage reminders.
Signage reminders, just all sorts of things. But I think coming from you, parents would actually they see kids respecting you and they don't want to get under your, they want to be on your bright side. So use that to your power.
They're voting for more strength and conditioning. So we're pushing out a potential class of strength and conditioning taught by Coach Vasquez.
Right.
On the wheel. That if they vote for it with their feet, it's something that we will have discussions about with regard to staffing. But it's nice that they're requesting.
Yeah.
And we're honoring their voice to see how to get that.
Yeah, I also agree with Maggie. I think having a way that kids can participate in social sports, because this neighborhood and this area is so competitive. When you get to the high school, there's just no it's very defeating for many kids. And so to give them the opportunity to play, I don't know if we have things like pickleball at lunch or those I thought at Vista we do, but I don't know when we get over to Valley if there's other places and ways that we can, I'm just asking if you need support for things, make sure that you are, I think you have a board that's very supportive of physical activity, and I'm happy to, if you guys have dreams or other things you want to do, keep them coming because we're interested. And then I'm not sure if there's ever a need to collaborate with the city, with the gym over here during the day, if we can expand things, or I don't know if that's a field trip or not, but that, it is a resource, and I'm not sure how used it is during the day. And then the other thing would be I know in the high school, when you get there are a lot of other sport opportunities or athletic opportunities or flag opportunities. There's a lot of opportunity, and you get there as a freshman and you're like, oh, I wish I would have learned how to do that.
I didn't know there was wrestling.
I didn't know there was wrestling, or I didn't know there was baton or flag, or, so maybe there's other things that I would encourage us to keep looking at the high schools, what they're doing. And they have like national championship cheerleading at both the schools. So it's like these there's no joke here. That was all I had to say. And one last thing, yes.
I just want to say, I had forgotten about this, but what you mentioned, President Cole brought it to mind, was that we did have an incident at a winter sport. Some parents got a little crazy. I mean, the refs were terrible, granted. But we had some parents that were embarrassing, and the game had to finish. And Coach Vasquez sent out just a really mature, perfectly pitched email to the parents to say, come on, we're better than this. And I just thought it was so well done. So I want to highlight that and to double down and please and thank you for that, and to encourage that parent meeting, because I think it's something that all parents need to remember, because we all get into it. So
use your power. All right, that's
Thank
it.
you guys so much.
Yeah.
I also want to just give a quick shout out to Principal Bledsoe, Allison Montoya, and Jason Butcher. Man, they've been super supportive. It's my second year, and they've been great. And you guys have been super supportive too. Like, I was getting nervous, but I'm like, oh, they're always so nice to me. So I should be chill. But yeah, I just appreciate you guys too. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, I think that exceeded our 8-minute rule, but I think we'll be okay. Yeah, we appreciate you guys being here. All right, moving on, 10.2, second interim budget report, Ms. Montalvo.
Good evening. I'm here tonight to present the second interim update, which is the second interim is the financial period from July 1 to January 31st. So it's the first 6 months of school, and then the projections until the close. Okay, our summary here. Projected reduction in deficit spending. The district is projecting a reduction of $13,000 in deficit spending, which helps us move towards a more balanced budget. Projected increase in revenue reserve balance due to the decrease in deficit. So we'll be increasing the reserve balance by $31,000, which is fantastic. When we look at our famous pie chart here that everyone loves, 80% or more of our expenditures are on staffing and personnel, which takes a large chunk out of our budget. Second interim changes in key numbers. The summary shows the immediate and long-term effects of changes on the budget. The combination of the increased enrollment and future increases in COLA could provide more funding in the out years, which is very important to keep getting our budget balanced. And also just to highlight, we did have a slight increase in enrollment. Since January, we're at 1419 right now, so we have, that has increased a little bit. When we look at our multi-year projections, we're in the progress section in the green. Like I mentioned, we have increased revenue, decreased expenditures, and an increase in the reserve. So we'll be closing with a strong reserve of almost 25% at the end of the year. Looking at projection for 25-26, we're basing our revenue on increased enrollment and increased average daily attendance, which is bringing us also closer to a balanced budget, but we also still have a very strong reserve. Moving into 26-27, the predication, again, we have projected enrollment growth and increase in average daily attendance, which you can see has brought us to a balanced budget. And again, still a very strong reserve at 23%. And that's our first interim update. Do I have any questions?
Any questions? Carol? Kathy? Maggie? Rachel? Nope. Thanks, Paula. Thanks, Paula. All right, moving on. 10.3, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Wilds. Spoiler alert.
Thank you all. So I have a short report tonight, and originally was only just going to talk, but then last week we had the most fun, and I thought you needed to experience it. So I've done this for a very long time. I've been in education. We have Read Across America Week every week, but then there was Read Across America Week in Hermosa Beach. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, there are celebrities, we've got sports, I couldn't even quantify. And so I wanted to kind of share a little bit about our experience last week. So last week, we participated in the National Education Association's Read Across America Week all week long, Monday through Friday. This annual event is just really about celebrating books, and it's about celebrating sharing the love of books together. We had guest readers, we had crazy engaging activities, teams, exciting school spirit, classroom spirit, and I just want to really kind of shout out Jessica Jacobs, who's in this picture. Hopefully you recognize her partner next to her. And she put this entire thing together, from scheduling and different guest readers and letting us know where to go. And I got to be a guest reader in a kindergarten classroom, and there was a goodie bag. I can't even begin to tell you, put it together. So let's take a little bit of a look. She welcomed a wide variety of guest readers. She had authors, she had voiceover actors, she had local celebrities. Chief LeBaron is a favorite. It's hard to compete with him when he goes into a classroom. The rest of his officers are also great, but quite frankly, I don't know that they can keep up with his voices. We had the librarians, we had various authors, we had the LA Kings, and we had the mascots, we had lifeguards, you name it. And each classroom got their own kind of individual experience. So staff and students got into the dress up as well. Monday was books can be silly, so kids wore their silliest hair. Cozy up with a book. They wore comfy clothes and pajamas. Miss Gluck was lucky enough to be at a school site that day. She got her pajamas. I did not get any pajamas, but next year I'm going to plan better. Mismatched clothes, silly hats, and the kids were just so excited about this day, and even the staff. So again, words cannot even form how grateful we are, but Jessica Jacobs did just an amazing job with this week, so we want to thank her. And then I also just want to remind everybody that the HBCSD strategic plan survey is out, it's live. We sent another email, just standalone, out today, and we want to thank all of our families, our staff, and our students will be taking it in a few weeks, who are just going to give us feedback. And so we appreciate them taking the time to do that. That's it for me.
I'm going to move on. Thank you, Susan. Seemed like it was a fantastic week. I'm sorry I couldn't be there the last 3 days I was out of town. Going on to 10-4, first reading, board policies, administrative regulations, and exhibits. Dr. Wilds.
The most exciting topic of the day. So in accordance with California Education Code, we periodically, approximately at least 4 times a year, review all of the newest board policies and regulations to keep us aligned with new California Education Code. So the set before you tonight is out for a first reading, and we will bring them back at the next meeting for approval.
Thank you for recording on there who's reviewed them. And it's just helpful to know that, like, oh, okay, a trusted human has reviewed these and this is what they think. Any questions? Concerns? Okay, we'll move on. To the consent agenda, can I get an approval of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Maggie. Can I get-
Second.
Thank you, Rachel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on to, so I'm just making sure 11 is part of that. Okay, action items, superintendent, letter of understanding, an LOU with the South Bay Parkland Conservancy. Dr. Wilds, or is this Maggie's?
I'll start, and then I'm going to pass it over to Maggie, if you don't mind.
No problem.
So the South Bay Parkland Conservancy is a nonprofit dedicated to preserving and restoring open spaces, wetlands, parklands in California's South Bay. Through community projects, they enhance habitats, promote environmental education, and advocate for sustainable land management. This agreement will designate the Hermosa Valley School Hillside Restoration Project to become officially recognized as a South Bay Parkland Conservancy project. The board recognizes the dedication and commitment of Suzanne Evans, community member, for bringing this partner to fruition. So I ask, before we take a vote on this item, I want to pass it over to Maggie, and if she can share a message from Ms. Evans.
And before I do that, I'd love to welcome a neighbor and champion of the Sand Dune Chackatack Ferio. You've been there hand in hand and keeping track of everything that happens when Suzanne's not here, in addition to keeping Suzanne on track when she's here. So thank you for Thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all the work you've done in organizing the students. So this is a letter from March 12th, and it's from Suzanne Evans. Dear Honored Superintendent, Dr. Wilds, and honored school board members, unfortunately, I cannot be present today for the MOU signing between the HBCSD and the SBPC South Bay Parkland Conservancy. I am Suzanne Evans, project head for the Hermosa Valley Sand Dune Restoration, HVSSDR, 2014 through 2025. The Hermosa Valley Sand Dune Restoration is the reason for this MOU and collaboration. For the past 4 years, I have observed how the South Bay Parkland Conservancy has evolved in the South Bay and is now in Hermosa Beach with their Greenbelt native plantings. I have incorporated what various groups are doing in the well-being of the HVS Sand Dune Restoration and by meeting their members and acknowledging their doings. The SBPC has now acknowledged that the HVS Sand Dune Restoration and would like us to join their coalition for creating more native habitat in the South Bay. With today's signing of the MOU with the SBPC, positive steps will take place. The continuation of involving HB students with native plantings, creating a better student-teacher educational structure, and to receive support with our special back sand dune native habitat maintenance when required. All of these means are very important for the future of HVS sand dune restoration. Many special individuals on the board who, to make what has come about in the last 15 years happen, you all know who you are, thank you. Many special thanks to the South Bay Parkland Conservancy, President Ms. Aga Chen-Fu, and the HBCSD Superintendent, Dr. Wilds, for teaming together to make this native collaboration happen. Sincerely, Suzanne Evans.
Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Jackie, for being here. And it's a great program for our kids, so we're really fortunate that she's been so dedicated to that for so long.
And I think, just as a note, I'm really excited for this to happen, and thank you to everybody involved. The task on any one individual is really great, so to have a larger coalition that is established being able to help support their efforts, I think just adds a lot of really helpful coalition building for all involved.
And so what will happen with this?
It's a great question. So once we agree, once the board approves this letter, Aga Chen-Fu, who interestingly enough, I was her children's principal down at Alta Vista Elementary School. So she and I have actually had a relationship for a very long time. And so she and I will touch base and talk and set through next steps.
But potentially they could bring other people, volunteers here to help.
Part of their recognized project,
Oh,
yes.
that's fantastic. Okay, so do we need to take a vote? Right.
This was just the report.
This is an action item.
Oh, this is an action, sorry, my bad. My bad.
Yep. Yeah, the recommendation is that we,
I move to approve
Thank you.
this letter of understanding.
Second.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Maggie, for motioning, and Kathy for seconding. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. That's an easy one. Woo. Moving on. Memorandum of Understanding, LACO, Ms. Gleck.
It is recommended that the board approve the memorandum of understanding from the Los Angeles County Office of Education for the Children and Youth Behavioral Health Initiative capacity grants to be ratified.
Thank you, Ms. Gleck. Any questions? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Maggie. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Carol. All in favor?
Aye. All good.
Moving on. 12.3, Comprehensive School Safety Plan. Ms. Gluck.
In accordance with California Ed Code, the district does update the safety plan annually. We have met with we've received, feedback with the police department, school site council, the LCAP committee, and reviewed the plan, as well as with the city. So it is recommended that the board ratify the comprehensive school safety plan, which was effective March 1st.
Does anyone have any questions? Maggie, do you have a question?
I do have a question. We were able to, post-COVID, do a pretty comprehensive safety audit, and I'm curious if there is legislative guidance that makes us do that every 5 years or 10 years, or if it's just good practice, and if so, what is our practice?
It's just good practice. So the CDE does put forth every year new legislation in that comprehensive. So thank you for Ms. Gluck. She reads every word. It's just a good practice, right? To really kind of take an audit of the schools and kind of look at where your weak points could possibly be, but also the work that Ms. Gluck does with the police department. So it's not just a kind of a rubber stamp. she gets line by line feedback from the police department, who were able to kind of give her some additional guidance, as well as city emergency management.
There's also the section that was new to the plan that included the learning continuity plan, which would involve if there is a shutdown of schools, what we would do and what actions we would take to ensure our students are educated properly.
We were talking at one point about just reviewing things for the priorities for the bond and coming up next week. And possibly we had school safety priorities also.
Yeah.
That we, I know we've been talking about that all the time, but there was like a comprehensive list from a person that came out and did
Yes.
things at one point.
Yeah.
So maybe that's another thing that
Yeah,
highlight.
and a lot of the work from that plan was done, lighting, safety, those kinds of things.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve
So moved.
the HBCSD Comprehensive School Safety Plan? Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Maggie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Robin, are we going slow enough for you? Or sometimes we might be going too fast. Moving on to business, 12.4, the 2024-2025 second interim report, Ms. Montalvo.
Thank you. The district budget assumptions have changed from the board meeting, a budget that was adopted on June 24th. Staff is bringing a revised budget reflecting a more accurate accounting of expected dollars for the current fiscal year. Recommendation that the second interim report for the 24-25 fiscal year be approved and certified, and the district will be able to meet its financial obligations for the remainder of this fiscal year and 2 subsequent years.
That's great news. Anyone have any questions? Nope. Thank you, Paula, for all the work you do on these. Okay, can I get a motion, please?
I so move.
Thank you, Rachel.
I'll
Thank
second.
you, Carol. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to 12.5, the 2025 second interim budget revisions, Ms. Montalvo.
Since the budget assumptions have changed, there's a revised stat file that will need to go into the official file, and it is a recommendation that the board approve the second interim revisions to be added to our DAT file.
Okay, any questions? Seems like, okay, me neither. And can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you,
I'll second.
Carol. And all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to 12.6, the approval of the State of California's California Multiple Award Systems Schedule, CMAS, contract number 4-21-10-1072 from Russell Sigler Incorporated for the purchase of carrier HVAC systems for Hermosa Valley School. Ms. Montalvo.
Thank you. The CMAS program is a program that allows districts to move more quickly. It's a delivery method. It requires one bid, and we're asking for authorization to use this program to install HVAC units at Hermosa Valley School.
Necessary.
And we're looking at 24 HVAC units?
Actually, it's 10 units
sorry, I
at
see.
this 10 units at this time.
Yeah, okay.
Title.
So
Title 24.
important to note, we're separating the purchase of the equipment from the labor. The labor has to be bid through a bid process. This allows us just to purchase the units. We're trying to be very mindful of that there is going to be at least probably a 17-week delay when you order them. So we want to be able to order the units separate. So we've kind of separated those two entities. So we want to buy the units so that they're here while we do the bid process to bid the labor to install them.
Do we have places to store these units?
They'll store them. Well, once they come in, again, it's about a 17-week-ish lead time, but they will store off-site. They won't store on-site.
Oh, okay. Okay, any questions? I think it's a smart way to use, to kind of circumvent this one. Okay, can I get a motion, please? Thank you.
I'll make a motion to
Carol?
approve.
Thank you, Rachel. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Motion passes. 12.7, Hermosa Valley Schools HVAC replacement project approval of the proposal from Russell Sigler Incorporated for the purchase of carrier HVAC systems through the State of California's Multiple Award System Schedule, CMAS contract number. Is it the same thing? Is this just?
It's just mentioning the contract number again.
Oh, contract 4-21-10-1072. Why do we have to have both?
Yeah, what's the difference?
So the first time you have to allow us to use CMAS, and then the second one, you're approving the actual contract of using the
With
CMAS.
Sigler.
Yes.
With the vendor.
Yes.
confusing.
It's very confusing.
What we're getting paid the big bucks for, you
The
guys.
big bucks. So yes, you can engage in CMAS, and then in the next, and then once you say yes, then here comes the next item. Now we want to do it, and here's the contract.
Got it.
So Sigler will be furnishing the units for us. So it'll be an owner furnished project. So we're buying the units direct from Sigler. They'll, like Susan said, they'll be stored off-site until we're ready. The lead time is about 17 weeks for the largest unit. We're hoping for installation late June or July, so we'll be ready for the fall in August. It includes a warranty on the largest unit, additional work that they have to do on the roof and that kind of stuff as well. So the recommendation that the purchase of the HVAC units for the California Commercial Russell Sigler for the Hermosa Valley HVAC replacement project through the State of California's CMAS program contract 4-21-10-1072 be approved.
Any questions? I did have one question on this, so go for it. So just clarify for me, the Sigler would not necessarily be the person putting, or the company
Correct.
putting them
Yeah.
in? They're just, they make and
They're the
manufacture.
manufacturer, so
So-
we're buying direct from the manufacturer.
Sometimes when you buy things like on personal property, if like I bought my dishwasher, I'm responsible for my dishwasher. But so if I have a plumber come in to install my dishwasher, then and then something's wrong with the dishwasher, the plumber takes no responsibility.
Well,
It'll be a shared liability between the installer that we bid the project out to that wins the award that we'll bring next month and the furnisher of the unit. So it'll be a shared responsibility. You're right, if you had gone to the same vendor, then it would be one person you had to go to. But in this instance, we felt that it was more important to get our order in so that we have functioning units for when school starts.
And so if for some reason there is a non-functioning unit, we have a warranty that we, as the district, would have to go and ask them
Yes.
about?
We have a warranty with Sigler directly.
Our HVAC supply, not a supplier, but our person who would put it in, installer, is not responsible for that.
Correct.
Okay.
It's very much needed.
Yeah, it's more just like,
I mean, I
it's
just
more
remember-
like that can be expensive if we have to take the liability
And
of it.
we want to note, this is not, there are many more HVAC units that could use some love and could use some support, but this is to replace the units on buildings that we do not plan to we don't plan to change roof lines so that we wouldn't have to install them and take them down, right? So we've kind of split the project, yeah.
Okay.
About the bond, what's the interaction? We're going to buy all these brand new air conditioning units and then have to buy new ones, or are these not going to be usable?
Yeah.
So these have been specifically sourced to the buildings that
Yeah,
were.
for example, the gym, right? So these are on locations, kind of where the district office is, those kind of where David Hart's room are, not areas that would be impacted by the bond.
Great. Thank you for all that. Do I have a motion?
I motion to approve item 12.7.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Carol. Rachel was the initial one. All in favor? Aye. Moving on to 12.8, the contract for consulting services, energy management services for Hermosa View School heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, air systems, HVAC. Ms. Montalvo.
The Hermosa Beach City School District seeks to engage Richard Heath and Associates, RHA, for consulting related to the evaluating of the VFR, or variable refrigerant flow system at Hermosa View School. RHA has an extensive experience in this area of management systems assessments, and consulting for school districts and other public agencies. And actually, today we had a meeting on campus. It was an all-hands-on-deck meeting. We had Sigler, Carrier, Control Works, DAG, and RHA came as a courtesy to us since we were bringing this to the board this evening for approval. It was a very productive meeting. We made a lot of steps forward, so we're looking forward to working with them and getting this HVAC situation under control at View.
Great, thank you so much. Any questions? Okay. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Kathy. Can I get a second? Thanks, Rachel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving on, personnel, 12.9, the approval of the revised certified administrative salary schedule. Dr. Wild.
Yes, so this is a revision of the current certificated administrative salary schedule. The revisions include the elimination of outdated positions that we haven't had in a very long time, as well as just outdated positions. People have since moved on to different positions, and we don't want something on a schedule that doesn't actually exist. In addition, we're proposing to eliminate the first two columns of the salary schedule, and keep columns 3 through 7. So take it from a 7 column down to a 5, and that is to better align our first step with our local neighbors in terms to be competitive. Our higher, when we did an analysis of all surrounding districts, our higher steps 3 through 7 look very competitive, but columns 1 and 2 were significantly under. So we wanted to bring ourselves in alignment. There is no changes to salary. We've just eliminated those first 2 columns. Staff recommend you approve this revision.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? All right, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Thanks, Kathy. Second. Thanks, Rachel, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 12-10, the memorandum of understanding with El Camino Community College.
El Camino is seeking to enter into an MOU with the district to provide fieldwork experience and opportunities for students enrolled in the early childhood program, specifically preschool and TK. So it's recommended that you approve the MOU with El Camino College and the district to support the preparation of professionals for student field work experience in early childhood education.
Great. Any questions?
Actually, I had one. How many student teachers do we normally, would we have on campus or any of our campuses?
Depends on the given year. It really depends. Anywhere in the fall, I think we had just 1. It depends on a given year. Same thing when I was in Redondo. Some years we would have several, and others it would be less.
It just seems, I know that it requires additional supervisory work by our teachers, which is, a resource strain, but I also think done well, it can bring such incredible energy and bring us some great benefits as well.
It is. It's a try before you buy kind of scenario. Yes, and especially for us with the early childhood credential, not only preschool, but transitional kindergarten teachers have to have a very specialized credential in the state of California. You have to be a multiple subject and then have additional work in early childhood. So it's what we call a rainbow unicorn. So we want to make sure that we have
lots of rainbow unicorns.
Yes, lots of them.
That's good.
Especially in TK.
I heard of them. Yep, I heard of them.
She has a question.
Just for clarity's sake, early childhood, that's TK and kinder, or is that TK to 1? What grades is that?
It's TK, it's really more around the age, right? So that 3 and 4 years old is the way the state of California looks at that particular credential. Kindergarten is a separate. So there's the multiple subject. For example, I'm a multiple subject teacher. I'm K8 or K6 versus, but if I wanted to be a TK teacher, I would have to go back and engage in a program such as this to add my add-on ECE credential.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Can I get a motion? So moved. Thank you, Rachel. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Maggie. All in favor? Aye. Moving on to 12-11, the resolution number 18:24/25, layoff of employees requiring a child development permit for lack of work and/or funds pursuant to Education Code Section 8303 Dr. Wilds.
Yes. So this is Resolution 18:2425, which pertains to the layoff of employees requiring a child development permit due to lack of work or lack of funds in accordance with Education Code Section 8303. So as we navigate the financial and operational challenges of the district every year, we have to look at budgets and we have to look at enrollments. And it's become necessary to evaluate and adjust staffing levels to align with current funding and program needs. The positions identified in this resolution are affected by the lack of funds. Making these difficult decisions is pretty unavoidable. We recognize the dedication and contributions of the employees impacted by this resolution, and we deeply appreciate their service to our students and families. And while these decisions are never easy, they're always made with the long-term stability and kind of needs of the district moving forward. So at this time, we seek the board's consideration and approval of this resolution, which formally authorizes the necessary adjustments in accordance with state law.
Anybody have any questions?
I just have a comment, and that's really, this is the first vote I've taken that I feel kind of icky about, because I know it's impacting, real people in a negative way, but it's for the long-term good of our district. But I want to reiterate what Dr. Wild said, and that's, we know, we see the people that this is affecting, and we appreciate everything you've done for our district. Thank you.
Earl, Kathy, Maggie? I'm good. Thank you. I'll just piggyback. Yes, I agree with you. But can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Rachel. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to board member roundtable. Anybody have anything they want to add today? Oh, go ahead, Maggie. It's a party over here.
All the different award submission periods are coming up. So knowing that we've been successful in going for distinctions and golden bells, if we want to form a committee to start drafting and thinking through some of our practices to offer them up, I want to say it's a May deadline for that. So, last year, Budget at a Glance, which is amazing, and is a distinction award-winning piece,
really good.
along with our Equity Committee, another Golden Bell Award winner. I just think we have some really great things to offer up the larger school district ecosystem on how we do things, because we do it really well here. And so if we want to think about something we want to offer up, even if it's just a table talk, we should do that.
Do you have anything in mind?
I don't.
Well, maybe Susan might have a good perspective because she's new, so she might be like, oh.
So we just want to start a
really
conversation on it.
Reading, you do read Across America better than anybody else.
Across America, I will tell you, it's not common for board members to necessarily always sit in curriculum adoptions and sit alongside teachers in evaluating curriculum, so maybe that's something that you might want to highlight.
Kathy Barrow.
Next future president. The other
Okay, go ahead,
The
Maggie.
other thing I had is, just given my comments earlier on the different bills that are swirling out there, I don't know if it makes sense to put together a framework on how we think about adopting certain things. We've never done it before. We just kind of talk about it. I'm happy to put together a draft on what makes sense based off of mission, vision, demographics, and see if that just provides some sort of like talking framework for us to think through if there are bills we want to support. Usually it's been kind of really easy things, budget impacts to small districts and whatnot. But if there are other things, and if the board had the appetite to look at some of these bills and write letters of support, there's a process to do that. And just open to hearing the board members'
I am
thoughts.
interested in that personally, because I just think it's interesting to know all the different legislation and how it works. Because I think if you are interested in activate your civic voice, that is one way to do that, especially in light of, Department of Education being reduced or other changes in our politics or changes in administration. If you want to have a voice, policy and government and getting involved in this level of it is very impactful for your communities. So I'm interested in that.
Dr. Wilds, I can work with you to see what makes sense. I just know all the bills are getting adopted in the next 6 weeks, and so they just came out of, they're going to go through committee hearings.
And many of them through CSBA already have letters that you can take and customize.
And then my third thing was for the board is, I know I've been hit up one of our neighbors several times about solar, and I was just curious who else on the board has been getting emails offering up auditing from Robert Fortunato on the work he's doing with the county. It's just a conversation he's brought to my attention several times, that the work he does offers grants to do this. And Dr. Wilds, I know he's talked to you on it.
He's also met with Brett McFadden, and that can be
It was
part of
too
our
early
talk.
on in the process.
It's
to
a
know
little
that.
too early on in the
But if you
process.
could provide more context, because I don't understand solar.
Yep. And we will, I'll actually talk to Brett and make sure that we talk about that on Tuesday night's workshop.
Anyone else? Okay. That was it.
Anything else? No. Anything else, roundtable? Well, there's going to be a lot of things coming out in days to come in the Department of Education. And I think in Hermosa, we're going to just keep doing our very best to serve our students. And we're not, terribly impacted by federal money in Hermosa. And maybe Dr. Wells, you can just talk a bit about that.
Yeah, so our budget is primarily base funding. So we get very, very little. The federal funding that we get comes through Child Nutrition, Universal Meals Program. We get a tiny little bit of Title II money. I want to say it's $30,000, so nothing that's life-changing. We get some mental health dollars, again, not a whole lot. Yeah, so nothing that would necessarily overly impact, but monies that come for special education, IDEA, that's law. So that comes down to the state funnels comes through our Southwest SELPA to support our students. So we're going to continue doing what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah. Each and every,
I just think as parents,
each and every
you might
kid.
be, concerned out there, especially if you had a student that has an IEP or in special ed or students in other communities. And I just think it's, we just have to, we're looking out for our students first of all, and then, and second of all, the students in the in the County of Los Angeles. It's just going to be very impactful. So we'll keep our eyes on it and keep people informed. But if parents or families or teachers have questions, feel free to reach out. We'll do our best to answer what we can. Yeah, anything else? If not, make sure you take a look at the calendar. Next week, Tuesday, we also have a board workshop on priorities for the bond. I would like to I meant to say to Nate, is that I'm sure just being out there on the field all the time, he might have some good ideas that are, things that he hears students want or spaces that he needs, for students or for equipment that we want to make sure we're thinking about when we're building.
You got it.
I have a quick question. Where is our meeting next Tuesday?
In the Valley 4th.
It's in Hermosa Valley, room 4.
Yeah.
We're going to be in the room and just feel the vibes of the bond.
And then
room 4 is over by the main office. It's where we had our governance workshop. Yeah, it's an empty classroom / future admin building, so.
And then on Friday, 4 of the architectural firms are coming in to be interviewed, so we will work through that process. It's from like 7:30 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. I'm sitting on that meeting. You all have received the rubric for that. So if you have any special, if you want to take a look at who the people are and you have an opinion, feel free to funnel it to Susan.
I'll put it in a Friday update.
I don't think we received
Yeah,
it.
you have the rubric we use to evaluate all of the proposals, and then we've narrowed it down from 9 to 4, which is 9 is a massive number. I would have been happy with 5 or 4, but we got 9, and I'll share the interview questions with you as well.
Sorry, last thing before, it is St. Patrick's Day on Monday, but the St. Patrick's Day Parade is on Saturday. Do we have any more information that we want to share?
11 o'clock, so we got confirmation that Mr. Peck is going to be one of the drivers, my driver. So Ms. Gluck has generously offered to ride in a vehicle with me because nobody needs to see the superintendent by herself in a car. But we're gonna, we're waiting.
I'm not. No, I am actually doing something else very civic-minded, but not that.
Yeah.
Maybe see if student government wants to come.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Get your student body government
Yeah.
president there.
Perfect. I have learned that Ms. Gluck at one point worked at Disneyland, so I've learned that she has perfected her wave. So, yes.
She's a
Quite frankly,
She's a
if
crowd
you've ever-
favorite.
You didn't, walking with her in the bond measure, people are much more excited to see her than they are me, so.
She does know everyone. Well, thank you for going this Saturday. And you can let your husband know I am doing something else. Yeah. Yeah, he's upset with me too. Yeah. Okay, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Thank you,
Second.
Rachel, and then Maggie. All in favor?
Aye.
Done.